So it's a 2-point game again. Back and forth we continue to go in this first quarter. Emily Violante looks to find an angle. Kicks it back out in the far corner. That's Holsinger, knocks it down. A.B. Holsinger knocks down the three, and it puts the lead up to 5. One of the first three balls, or the second three ball we've seen tonight for Gettysburg. But nonetheless, the basket ties it up at 24 apiece. Messiah comes back on the other end with Chloe Milanese, the graduate and the older of the two sisters, makes it a 2-point game again. Back and forth we continue to go as we close out the first half. So Violante will have possession first as we begin the second quarter. Gus Baylow, Griffin Bass here on the call for the Centennial Conference semifinal game. The second game that is tipped off tonight, of course, the Hopkins-Dickinson game also in progress. We'll give you an update on our next timeout. Holsinger gets fouled on her way up, and she'll head to the line for 2. While we have a second, we do want to give you an update on that Hopkins-Dickinson game. Hopkins currently leads it by 9 going into the fourth quarter. So if that score were to hold, Hopkins will host the championship on Sunday against whoever wins this game. Of course, if it is Gettysburg, it would be a matchup of the top 2 teams in the conference, a matchup that a lot of people probably are hoping for in terms of just the historic nature of that rivalry. Of course, 2 top teams without question all throughout the year.
I know it's a big ask because both Caitlin Boggs and Emma Robinson are both just juniors, so they still got one more year left. But they're the leading rebounders for Washington College. They have got to make sure they box out Shania Lee on the defensive end. They cannot allow Gettysburg to get, obviously went 0 for 2 on the line there, so it kind of worked out. But they cannot allow any second chances for Gettysburg, and they continue to let some offensive rebounds go through to the Bullets.
Arnold getting tied up on the jump ball. Possession will stay with the Shorewomen. So again, remains just a 9-7 game as we now are into the second quarter. Again, I think both these coaches probably feel like you've left some on the table, but both these teams are playing pretty aggressive defensively so far. And that's certainly what we expect to go in tonight. Nice backdoor pass, but it gets blocked. Looked like Lee got a piece on it as the 2 number 5s trade off, as it was Meredith who got caught up. Holsinger finding Arnold. Now here's Lee. Lee having a clear line, takes the right-handed layup, and it goes. Finally, they get on the board, nearly 5 minutes of action, and the lead is up to 4. That feels like a big basket, getting Shania Lee involved on the offense.
Yeah, Shania Lee, good to see that from her. Obviously, we know what she can do on the defensive end. Wow.
How about that? The bank 3 falls. They needed it badly as Carrie Kelleher knocks down a bank 3 falling away. That's the shot maybe you don't have on paper, but they will gladly take it. She is only a 19.4% three-point shooter entering the night, so that's a big shot they got.
The vault opened late on Fridays in Southern PA.
Holsinger responds with a 3. So back and forth we go as Holsinger knocks it down, and just like the first quarter was, a trading of threes between the 2 teams. Now this time it's Boggs. Of course, they want to get her involved, as Griffin has mentioned on numerous occasions. They'll look to get another 3. That one missing badly on the left side of the rim for Meredith. And now here's Violante looking to push. Violante looking to go all the way herself, and she'll get fouled on the way up. How about the aggressive take from Emily Violante, who has suffered an injury later in January, came back to the roster in early February following the injury, and now has since been a great spark in that 4-5 spot for the Bullets.
Of course, our referees have the better angle, but I think Caitlin Boggs might have a good argument there. It didn't seem like there was a whole lot of contact, but Bullets are obviously going to take that, and Washington, again, still has to be very conscious of their fouls. That's just the first foul on Boggs, but if they continue to let their bigs get into foul trouble, this could certainly could certainly get out of hand for Washington.
By the way, that first 3 from missing for Violante, she's an 84% free throw shooter. She misses both. Gettysburg has left some points on the table, left on the free throw lines in this game, and they continue to struggle. They are now
1 for 6 from the line.
I was saying 1 for 6 from the line. As that basket falls, and we get a 2-point game, as falling away was Abby Meredith. So again, we continue to go back and forth. Washington College hanging around a little bit, down by only 2 to the number 2 seeded Gettysburg here at Bream Gymnasium. That time it gets blocked. That time it appeared it was Robinson on the block. Second chance rims out, and a chance to tie here for the Shorewoman. They're going to slow it down as that's Kelleher who takes her time, covered by Arnold. Want to be smart here for shot selection. Down by only 2, and they're going to take as much time off the clock as they can in this possession. They like to drag that shot clock out. They go inside. Now a little turnaround. That layup goes, and we're tied. As that time it's Robinson who gets the spinning layup, and it's a 14-all game. How about this? Washington College making some noise in Gettysburg.
That's the perfect offensive possession if you're Washington. You want to try to replicate that every single time. Swing the ball around. Wow.
Oh, Holsinger banks it in. That's the shot, and she's smiling on the way back. It's not the shot you draw up once again, but it banks it off the top left corner of the backboard, and it finds its way in, and that gives Gettysburg the lead. That's the three that, again, you don't think about as much, but it works nonetheless. Can they respond? Yes, another bank three.
I've never seen this many bank threes in a single game. We've got, 3 this quarter?
Well, actually, they're going to call it a 2. They call it a 2. Right. And I think Nate Davis thinking the same thing we are. How many bank shots can you have in one game? We've seen a lot in this first half, but they do call it a 2. It's a deep 2. Nice backdoor to Lee. That's big-to-big passing as Violante and Shina Lee, who are the 4 and 5 spots in the lineup, as we get a foul, as the Washington College fans making some noise after that foul. But it makes the lead 3. How that big-to-big passing as a great backdoor cut by Shania Lee gets that one in. And it remains a 3-point game, by the way. The foul is called on Holsinger. That is her first, and that is the first team foul on Gettysburg in the game. And it's probably why the Washington College fans are making some noise as they get Gettysburg on the whistle. They try to get to Boggs, the turnover. Arnold has an opportunity to go all the way herself. She'll find O'Neal, and she loses it out of bounds. A missed opportunity for Ava O'Neal and company. And again, even though the offensive pace has picked up substantially, that's a missed opportunity on the other end for the Bullets.